Hello, Internet! Welcome to 2.5 Brains. This is the latest episode of The Amazing Race. Amazing Race Season 33, Episode 8. Breaking it all down here, discussing it. As always, we had some technical difficulties this week, so we're recording a little later than usual. We're recording right before the next episode. We're going to also watch the next episode and then record that one pretty much right away as well. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. You can like our Facebook page, facebook.com/PavementRoadProductions. You can email the show directly, pavementroadproductions@gmail.com, and subscribe right on our YouTube channel as well. Share the post, tell your friends, comment away as well. A lot to talk about here. We're going to have a lot more shows come up here as well, so definitely be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. I'll go ahead and bring in Jessica here in just a moment. Jessica, welcome to the show.
Hello.
How you doing, Jessica?
I'm well. How are you?
Fine. I don't know what you're doing, but it's fun. It's fine.
Hello. I am Greek.
Oh, okay. Well, you came to the right episode, Jessica.
Exactly. Why do you think I'm doing it?
I get it. I got it. I got
They
it.
do so much in the accents. Not too much, though.
It's okay. So obviously it was a fun episode this week. Break it all down here, talk all about it. Let's start with the initial thoughts. Any initial thoughts on the episode? Unless you have anything else you want to say before we started.
Just very fun. Very good episode. Now I sound like a Borat. It's been nice. A nice episode.
Yeah, you're Israeli now, right?
Yeah, very nice. How much?
Okay.
It was a good episode. I want to go to Greece.
Mm-hmm.
It was very beautiful.
Yeah, so they traveled by plane, obviously. They didn't show any of that because they're kind of traveling in between the legs now as opposed to during the legs.
Sorry.
Jessica's choking on her
Weird. Yeah.
burps.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I thought you were laughing at what I said because it kind of sounded awkward what I said.
All of the
And now you're
things.
snorting.
It was very awkward. Just unexpected. Could not
Okay.
control it.
Well, anyways, so they traveled to Greece, and they had the leg in Greece. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you want to talk about it, or is there anything else you want to say about the...
No, it's hard to... Initial thoughts is hard because I talk about it mostly in the show, so... It was a good episode. Initial thoughts. I like it. Very nice.
Okay.
How much a trip?
All right. Tell me about the... I think this leg was like $10,000 each, so I think it was the... How much
Okay,
was it?
time to go. I save my money.
No, I think the winners got $10,000 each, I think.
They did, yes. I want to go to Greece, so I
Okay.
save money.
Great. Anyways, so tell me about what happened in the episode. You start with...
So first, there was the first roadblock. This is where they had to wrap it's either fig leaves or grape leaves. I can't remember. I think it was fig leaves. With a filling, they had to do it in a way like the person was doing, and they had to have it organized the same way that they had it as well, in order to get their clue.
Yep, and that one had some ups and downs. Looks like I think the
Holderness and flight attendants got there first.
so the
But
first one, I
then
believe, yeah.
flight attendants left last.
Up in the last place after everybody
Yeah.
else got there, yeah.
And was it Dusty, I think, did that one? They left second. Lulu Lala were third.
Yeah, and then Detroit was fourth.
Yeah, Detroit. I keep forgetting about Detroit.
Yeah, they're forgettable. So yeah, that's how that challenge went. Anything else to say about that?
You mean how Kim said that her friend makes those for her, except she didn't say, so I should know how to do it. She said, I never learned how to do it from her. I probably should have learned that.
Thank
Thank you, Kim. Thank you for saying something smart. It's because she's older. I get along with older people mostly in general, so makes sense.
Yeah, no, I was waiting for you to explode, but then she finished it correctly, so I was like, okay, good.
Yeah, no, there was no reaction from me at all when she was saying it, because she kept going. She's saying how her friend makes this for me all the time, but I never learned how to make it from her. I probably should have done that.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
There you
good
go.
job, Kim.
Perfect. And what is next?
So, from there, they had to go find, I think it was Mom's? I don't remember the name of the
Something
stand.
like that. Momas, whatever.
Moma's, it was a Greek,
Mamos.
basic Mamos, I think, Greek, almost like a food truck.
Yeah.
On the side of the road somewhere. They had to find where that was, and they had to ask for the special of the day. And the lady would say, the special day is the Slovaki, but first you must spell it.
And a lot of people spelled it wrong, or a couple.
Most of them spelled it right. I think it was only one or two teams.
Yeah.
They had to actually ask.
And then Detroit team.
Yeah, they had to ask. Well, because they couldn't understand what she was saying. Everybody was Shulvaki, SH. I mean,
SCH.
Shall we tell them that you were spelling it wrong too for a while?
I just spelled it wrong with the one letter, but
you reversed the U and the V and the L. The V and the L, yes. Yeah. No, the U. You're
Shulvaki.
Yeah, the V, yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, the special day is Shulvaki, but first you must spell it.
Souvlaki.
Yeah. Good job. There you go. Once they spelled Shulvaki, they got a Shulvaki and had to eat all the food. And their next location was listed on the wrapper of the Shulvaki. However, almost every team didn't get it right away that was on there. And we're looking around and they would ask her. And she'd say, no clue. I had no clue. And then they look at the paper. They see they have to go to a church. At the St. George something.
Yeah, St. George
something, yeah. Yes. Lulu and Lala, however, had to eat 2 Shulvakis in order to find out that was the clue. As they're choking it down, one of them doesn't like onions. She's gagging and throwing up. WTF. Number 1, Shulvaki, delicious. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you didn't mention that, yeah, they had to go twice because they said they ate it and they threw it out. And then they asked her again, and she said, she said what?
I said, no clue. I had no clue.
Oh, what did she say?
The special is Shulvaki, but first you must spell it.
And again, they did it. They spelled it again.
She made another one, and
they ate it again. They're like, clue? She's like, no clue,
no clue.
And then they finally figured it out, but it was took a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so then they had to go to the church, and it was the Greek Orthodox Church when the Catholic Church split. They had the Roman Catholic Church and the Greek Orthodox Church, and they had to go to a Greek Orthodox Church and learn about saints.
Yes, they had. I think it was there were 10 or 12 saints they had to listen to, and then they had to. Was it 10? Yeah, they had to answer 5 questions by taking the picture of the saint that it corresponded to.
Yeah, and of course, so this one, the other. I guess the one didn't have to do this one, but the other person did this one.
Everyone pretty much had the other person do it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, this was right up Holderness's alley, and of course it was right up Penn's alley. So I'm glad he got to do it. Because they got there first and killed it and crushed it.
You got the hyperfocus.
Yeah.
ADHD.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. And then with I think it was who did this one? Dusty, Ryan, and Dusty.
Ryan. So Ryan did it. He listened to 2 things and then ran away because he thought he only had to listen to 2 things.
5.
Or was it 5? Yeah. He listened to 5 and then ran away, which I mean. The clue didn't exactly say you had to listen to all of this stuff and then answer 5, about 5 saints. It just said something about 5 saints. So.
Yeah. So then he did. He answered the questions about 5 saints, but there was.
He didn't know.
He know that there was. It would have been about the 10 he heard. It was 5. They picked 5 out of the 10 that he heard.
Right. So the questions that they were asking, he said he didn't remember hearing that about any of the saints. So he just kind of guessed. He actually guessed a couple right though.
Yeah.
I think when he got there, it was him, and then it was flight attendants that showed up, I think.
Yeah, Kayla went.
Yeah. And then Natalia showed up, and then it was Lulu and Lala. I'm never going to know who's who, so I don't remember who did it. I think so.
It makes sense. Like Marinella and Marissa. Like, how do you get Lulu or Lala out of that?
Nella and Marissa. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a Marissa or Marissa.
I mean, Marinella, you could turn into whatever.
Yeah, I would maybe say Ella.
Ella, under my umbrella, Ella, No?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. I definitely know. I definitely know what you're referring to. I smell what you're stepping in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, what am I stepping in? Because I'm not stepping in poop.
Yeah, that's definitely something. Anyway, and the cat was so nice that we decided to record. As soon as you record, the cat goes psycho. It's crazy. Right, Bailey? Say something, Bailey. Say hi. Say hi.
No.
All right. So obviously that some teams did really well, some teams struggled. But the flight attendants left in last place, and they didn't have had trouble spelling Slovakia.
Slovakia, no.
So they ended up getting their third, I think, right? They got to the second.
Who got third?
They got to the second roadblock third. Because they had the Slovakia thing in the right. So the flight attendants were left last, and they got to the third. Yeah.
But they got to a third. Well, because Lulu and Lala got lost and found the pit stop first. That's why.
Yeah.
And then, they got to the Slovakia place third, and then they got to the next roadblock third.
Yeah.
They were also there for a little bit. But everybody pretty much, they all got it on their first try. I figured more people were going to struggle. Yeah. I mean, well, not really. Ryan didn't because he kept going and not listening to all of them. Once he did, he got it on his his third try.
Yeah, for sure. Once he actually listened and got through the whole 15-minute speech.
Right.
All right. So after that challenge, and that was what the thing you said too, Lulu and Lala, right? They went to the pit stop, almost kind of checked in. They might have been better off taking a 4-hour penalty or 6-hour penalty. What it was at that point?
Maybe.
Just checking in. I don't know.
I mean, I don't think so though.
Yeah,
I don't think it took everybody else that long to do the rest of it.
But they found the pit stop and they had to go back and find the other stuff.
Well, I'll say this episode, now that people had to drive themselves places, everyone got lost.
Yeah,
so,
for sure. That was a good thing too. Self-driving, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Anything else?
Not without, I guess, spoiling the power ranking, because you yell at me.
So, I would never yell at you. So that was how that went. So the next part here is who got eliminated, right?
Yes. Why they lost.
Yeah, so what happened?
Lulu and Lala.
Yeah, so Lulu and Lala finished last.
They lost.
So what happened?
Well, they found the pit stop, and then they found they found the pit stop on the way to the food, wasn't it?
I think so.
Found the pit stop, then found the food, did the food, got to the Saints spot, but at that point they were already last. Yeah. They maybe could have made up for it, but they could not get to the pit stop fast enough. Even though they knew where it was, they just couldn't make up the time that they lost.
Well, that was true. They said they knew where they were going, and Team Detroit didn't. So Team Detroit
they didn't, and neither did Ryan and Dusty. I don't think they even were asking where to go because I guess, I don't know if you want me to say it now or wait till after. They finished second, but got to the pit stop third again.
Yeah. So, and we can talk about that in a little more detail, but that's for sure what happened. So, what did Lulu and Lala do, though? What was there? I mean, they definitely lost the race, quote unquote, or this leg, between the first roadblock and the food thing. Mm-hmm. They really kind of lost it there. But what was their biggest?
They struggled with direction. They could work together, but maybe not well all the time. Outside influences, different things, fighting, not being on the same page with certain things. When they worked with other teams, they did better, but they struggled with all of those things. Yeah,
I mean, they were kind of reminding me a little bit of Leo and Jamal. I mean, they weren't as off the wall as the Afghanimals were, but they were a little bit like that. They bickered a little bit. And it gets down to the final 4 teams, final 3 teams. There's really, there's no room for error at that point, right? Mm-hmm. There really is no like.
Yeah, you can't spell Slovakia. You got screwed, and then you had to eat 2 of them. So.
Yeah, I mean, and part of the problem, of course, is that they got lost. That's a big mistake. They went to the pit stop first and had to go back. Mm-hmm. Got the food and messed that up. It took forever to do that. And then after that, it seemed like they were in pretty good shape. But again, if they would have had this leg when there was 9 teams left, they probably finished 7th or 8th and they're okay.
Yeah.
But there's only 5 teams left, and for some reason, Team Detroit finishes second last when it's elimination, and last when it's not elimination for whatever reason. So they got passed up by the team that they were the closest to, and they weren't strong enough to overcome, and they had a bad leg when there wasn't enough teams to have that cushion. They weren't a terrible team. They finished last, the second leg of the race. Let's not forget that. Yeah. It was and they got to continue racing. So they had some ups and downs. I think they finished as high as second once, but they were a middle of the pack team, and as teams get eliminated, the middle of the pack gets pushed up and up and up. and to the point where now you were fourth, fifth the whole time, and now you're fifth. And there's only 5 left. So I really think they kind of maybe even overachieved a little, but they didn't have a very good leg. They were pretty unorganized. They didn't really read their clues all that well, and they were kind of flustered. They're definitely a bit of a mess of a team, I would say. Yeah, easy for me to say. They're a bit of a mess of a team, I would say. They just didn't have enough to overcome all the mistakes they made. They weren't and maybe another team who's stronger can make those mistakes and overcome that, or a team that's stronger doesn't make those mistakes to begin with.
Yeah.
And I think they weren't that strong of a team, and they just made 2 mistakes and couldn't overcome.
Yeah.
I think that's why they lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so that's that. That's how Lulu and Lala lost, and now there's 4, Jessica.
Mm-hmm.
And let's talk about the 4 power rankings. The the most fun part of the episode here. 4 teams left. Let's rank them from worst to first. In again, not necessarily the order they finished, but just kind of their overall positioning.
Right.
Right. Who is number 4? And it's not close.
Team Detroit.
Yeah. So Natalia and Arun and Natalia.
Correct.
Yeah. So why are they here?
Well, I don't know how they're here. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
I mean, they get lost. They haven't excelled at too many of the items that have come their way and the roadblocks and everything else. Let's just say the Confucius say future does not look good for them.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I said, I mean, so they've been eliminated once. They came back and got not eliminated twice. So they're only their 4th chance at this point.
Someone has a horseshoe up their butt.
Yeah, for sure. Whatever they're doing is working. But they said every leg that's elimination, they finish second last. Every leg that's not elimination, they finish last. They just somehow, have been able to, they've, we said the blonde girls from last season were Teflon. Nothing can stick to them. These guys are the same. They're even more so. Like everything they do, every mistake they make ends up not costing them, even though it should. Mm-hmm. They are probably the worst team to ever be in the Final Four. I mean,
That's a bold statement.
I know it is.
Strong statement.
I know it is. It's maybe a hot take. I don't know, but I think they might be the worst team to ever be in the Final Four. They're not really. There's nothing you really point to that they're good at. I mean, Lulu and Lala, they said they bickered or whatever. They were fine. These guys don't really bicker. They're just not strong. Mm-hmm. They're not. I mean, they're he's older. She's small. Like it's hard to even fathom that they're here. Like it really is. If by some miracle they win the race, I mean, good God, they just watered down the race for everybody else.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, there was a team that they were the nerdy guys. I don't know what their names were. It was DJ and BJ or something. I don't know, some weird. I don't even know what the heck they were, but they were like these 2 nerdy guys, and they got not eliminated I think twice, and then went on to win the race. And they were it was. I don't remember their names are, but they were 2 like nerdy guys with beards.
I'm
and
sure it's not BJ.
It might have been. It very well might have been. Just finds that hilarious. No, the cat is attacking her.
Bite my calf.
Yeah. Pretty much. The cat she just is so quiet until we start recording. It's just crazy. She must hear the record button or see the whatever, and just, I don't know. But yeah, so as I said, Arun and Natalia, again, they're definitely, but again, maybe some miracle they get in the final 3. I don't know. I guess I don't know how many legs they're going to even do this season. They haven't done any roadblocks or detours, and that kind of those.
They have done roadblocks and detours.
I mean, I'm sorry.
They haven't done U-turns.
U-turns and fast forwards. Sorry. Sorry.
Nope.
Wrong-o.
Yeah.
No, they haven't done any They haven't done any U-turns or fast forwards this season. They haven't done fast forward in a while, I don't think.
I don't think I've ever seen a fast forward.
They might have stopped doing it, honestly. They haven't done any of those one-on-one challenges either, which they probably were planning on doing, but everything got so screwed up. So I mean that does help shake things up, right? And you have those one-on-one challenges or the the fast forwards and U-turns and all that, even speed bumps. when they had those kinds of things, it does shake things up a little bit, and they haven't done that. So the teams who've been at the top have stayed pretty much near the top. So it's hard to say, but Aruna Natalia are still there. They're still hanging out somehow, and maybe somehow they'll jump ahead of somebody. But they seem like it's Aruna Natalia and then everybody else. And they seem like they're light years behind everybody else, and but again, they're still here. They're fans of the show, so that if there's any advantage to that, maybe that there is something there, but they're still here, so good for them. What's next?
The flight attendants for Kyle and Kayla.
Yeah, Raquel and Kayla. Again, I was really kind of kicking where to put them. I feel like they finished second, I think 3 legs in a row now. It's been pretty much the same top 3 every time for the last 3 legs, I think. But I want to give them one more strong, because I really do see, like, especially the self-driving stuff, they seem to mess up a lot, and they do seem kind of.
They still struggle once they get to things.
Yeah, they do. They're kind of ditzy. They make dumb mistakes, but they're smart and they're in good shape. They're athletic, so I think that's a good thing for them.
We don't have time to get into this whole athletic conversation.
Well, right. I mean, so I don't want to go down that rabbit hole again, like I said, but I think they're a way more solid team than I expected. Would you agree with that?
I guess.
Or did you expect them to be really good?
I expected them to be at least average,
Yeah.
so they're a little bit better than my expectation. But...
Yeah, I mean, and that's why I guess maybe that's why they're third, right? Because, I mean, I can see them winning. I certainly can.
No, I can't see them winning.
See, and that's kind of, I would say, if you're like slicing up the pie, I'd give them like maybe 20% of the pie.
The only reason is because they always have to follow the team that's ahead of them in order to get to the places, and then doing the tasks. They've been following the Holderness bunch for the past 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But they're not overcoming them.
Right.
Anytime.
No, you're right. And
So-
they're fast or whatever, but that's running.
Ish, yeah. Running, yeah.
But that's it. And then also too, I mean, they said this looks like they were in 5th. They ended up catching up. But other teams had to mess up for that to happen. So I don't know. I guess that's why they're third. Right? I think they have the third best chance of winning. I mean, they've been finishing second consistently.
They messed up the fig thing and put themselves in last.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that was their own fault, of course.
Yeah.
Raquel messed that up. But I think the biggest thing right now, I really think, even though they finished second consistently, they haven't won a leg yet, and they're just, they're leaving in second place. Mm-hmm. They're finishing in second place. I think if they leave in third place, they'll finish in third place. I just think they're very, they kind of there's been not a lot of opportunity to overtake other teams, and not been a lot of opportunities to be overtaken by other teams. And I think that's kind of where they're at right now. I think they're kind of just in the spot where, they're not. I don't see. I can see them winning because they're probably one of the 3 best teams. And if you're in the top 3, you have a shot to win. But if you race to the finish line, you have a shot to win. But
they have a shot to win. I don't see them winning though.
Well, so I mean, I can't say 0 because if you're
I'm not saying that it's 0. I just don't see them winning.
Yeah. So I think we're on the same page. But I think they have like let's say they have a 19% chance of winning. Let's say Aruna and Natalia have a 1% chance of winning, and then the other 2 teams have the bigger share of the chance. Even though even though they keep finishing second, they're following on the team there, right? They're not really blazing their own trail, and that's why it seems like they always finish second, just because they're always following a team and they try to overtake them at the end, and they just something goes wrong, they can't overtake them. So they're trying to stay right with the pack then and make a move at the end, and somebody just is better than them every time. Mm-hmm. So that's why I still have them third, even though again I could probably move them up to second based on how they've been finishing, but I don't think they have the second best odds of winning.
Yeah.
So, anything else on them?
No.
So let's go ahead and talk about the top 2. Who's number 2, Jessica?
Ryan and Dusty.
Ryan and Dusty. They've been number 1 pretty much the entire time.
They suck.
And they fell down to second. Tell me about that.
I mean, our number 1 has finished in first place the past 3 weeks. Yeah. They've always consistently been in the top, except for maybe a couple weeks where they fell short, fell down to the middle of the pack. But, I mean, they were able to fight their way up from last and not get eliminated. they've consistently at least been in the top 2 usually, but now they've fallen to 3 the past couple of weeks. So that is why they have been demoted.
Yeah, they've been third, 3 legs in a row now. You can't really, and the team was in first has been first 3 legs in a row now, so you can't really say anything about that. I mean, they've had, put this way, they've had more scares of going home than the team in first place, in front of them.
Well, right. Also, they haven't been able to overtake to become first again
Right.
since they've been in this spot. And if they were the champions, as they said they were, they would be back in first place again.
By now.
It hasn't happened.
By now, absolutely. And I think they only have like a 15-minute lead. I think the teams,
It is,
the two, like the first place, second place, and then third and fourth, I think only have like a 15-minute lead, right? So
they've also just got lost this past week, and that really didn't happen much for them before. So they're kind of slowing down. They were heated up real quick in the beginning for a while, and then that fizzled away.
Yeah, I think so too. I think yeah, I don't know if they have been out of the top 3. I mean, they were, for a while they were down, and then they came back up, but I think they always finished within the top 3 or maybe at least the top 4. And I don't know if you remember a few seasons ago, the Olympians, the 2 ladies, they were never once out of the top 3. The entire race, they finished within the top 3, and the last leg, they had the worst leg they had, they finished third. On the last leg. They got all the way to the end, and then I think they finished third in the last leg. It was by far the worst leg.
The Big Brother team that won that year? That was the first year I watched
yeah, I think
with
so.
you.
I think that was it, yeah. I really wanted them to win that team because they're the Olympians, but they fell a little short.
Jessica and whoever.
Jessica and, the Big Brother team, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Military guy and girl.
I mean, not to get that, I don't watch Big Brother.
Yeah, no, me either.
So.
But Big Brother is on right before Amazing Race right now. The Big Brother Celebrity.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah. Big celebrities live in a house. Where have we seen that before? Anyways, so moving on to now, I think we move on to the top team, right? Who is team number 1, Jessica?
My winner picks the Holderness family, Penn and Kim.
Yeah. So again, they might have jumped over to be my favorite now to win the whole race. I mean, they're obviously number 1, so they obviously, yes, they are.
And they keep talking about how old they are.
Yeah, I know. It's been an Astros season.
40 is the new 30,
right.
So technically they're like 35 and 37.
Yeah. So there's a lot of reasons why they're here. It's been a very modified season. All those things, you can put all those things into it. But again, they finished third or first 3 times in a row. They've been right on the top, one of the top teams every single time too. And again, I thought they'd be good. I didn't think they would be, in the top 4 that were with more than 50% shot to win. I mean, I think if you divide up this proverbial pie, I think they get at least 40% of it. And then 20 for the other 2 teams, and then Ryan and Dusty get whatever's left. So I think maybe 45 or 50% of the pie, and then Ryan does get 30. I think it kind of might be what it is at this point.
2010.
And then 19 and 1. Yeah. So I think that's kind of where I would do it.
Wait a second. Did you say 40 and 30?
So whatever it's 40 and
doesn't add to 100%.
No, 50 and 30.
Okay.
The second time I said 50 and 30.
Okay,
50 and 30, and then 19 and 1.
Okay. It wasn't adding up, so.
Yeah. So I think that's I think Holderness might be the favorite at this point. Again, I don't really see, it's hard for me to see anybody other than Ryan and Dusty or Penn and Kim win. So I think it's one of those 2 teams. But again, they've been so consistent lately. And it's hard to see. It's they could certainly still lose, but do I see them getting knocked out next? No, I think the 3 top teams are going to be in the final 3 teams, and then it's going to be a battle to duke it out and see who wins that last leg. And again, the last leg is always, it's always a bit of a toss up. I mean, we've had teams who were barely that good and they got to the final 3 and they won. So getting to the final 3 is important. Not taking necessary risks when you're in the lead. Get yourself to the final 3, and then from there, it's just running a clean leg.
The flight attendants have said, I think this season, what I said, all you have to do is win first once, and that's at the end.
Yep.
But I also think the Holderness couple has the adult common sense that some of the teams are lacking, even though, they're in their 30s as well as we are. But they have a little bit more experience in life than others,
Yeah.
and they're also working smart and I guess not working hard. I think they're doing both, but
Yeah.
they're also looking at the big picture, what they need to get done, and doing it, and killing what they've been doing.
Yeah, and I think Ryan and Dusty just try to basically run as fast as they can through a wall,
Well,
whereas the other
right.
guys, Penn and Kim, can't do that.
They run like bull. The rest are like, okay, how can we smartly do this?
Right. No, for sure. I agree. I definitely agree. And I think it's been really, really helpful for them. I'm interested to see what this next episode brings, but so far, I think it's you can't really put, we've been putting Penn and Kim in the second spot for a while, and they won 3 in a row. The team we were had in first place and then third 3 in a row. It just kind of feels like
it was time.
Exactly.
The passing of the torch.
Exactly. So we'll see. It could be Ryan Dusty could be back at number 1 next week. Kayla and Raquel could be number 1 next week. Who knows?
Probably not.
But yeah, right. But I think it's gonna be one of these two teams. Is gonna be one. I really feel strongly one of these two teams is gonna win. But then again, you never know. There's only been I think 3 all-girl teams that ever win the Amazing Race, or 2. So Raquel and Kayla are trying to change that, but we will see.
Yeah, it's fine. I would rather have the older couple win. I enjoy that.
Well, listen, last season I was rooting for the older couple when I got to that point. When I got to the final 5, and they won, right? Colin and Christy. So
yeah.
but then they again, if you want to talk about older, they're both freaking physical specimens. So it's like you can't even say anything, right? I mean, they're both absolutely ripped and for their age, they're beasts.
Talking about though.
Oh, I know, but they're
If Ryan and Dusty run like bull because they're in shape, they'd be in first place again. But it doesn't mean that that's
right.
what all that matters.
They're right, and also they were zen, and that's a bigger part of it.
Yeah,
it's
just being composed. That's what Penn and Kim definitely are too.
And getting along.
Yeah.
And I said, if you look at the teams who've got along the best so far, it's probably the 3 teams left.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't Akbar and Sherry, and Lula and Lala had their bickering, so it wasn't them.
I mean, if we're going by that, Akbar and Sherry should have went out first.
Yeah,
so
no kidding.
It's just
It really hasn't been any major fighting this season. It's been really
no blow-ups, really.
No, and a lot of likable teams, which is cool. So I'm pretty much happy for anybody who wins.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else, Jessica?
Nope. That's all, folks.
I think that's about it. So we will definitely be back to record here another episode soon. So be sure to subscribe to miss anything. You can it's gonna because we're gonna watch this episode, then we'll record pretty much right after. Or maybe not. Maybe it'll just be me. I don't know. Either way, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. You can like our Facebook page, facebook.com/Pavement Road Productions. That's facebook.com/Pavement Road Productions. Give the thumbs up, the like. Just to lift my head up now, so I don't remember where I left off. You can subscribe on the YouTube channel. Comment, share the post, tell your friends. Email show directly pavementroadproductions@gmail.com, facebook.com/Pavement Road Productions. Thanks for listening. We'll be back soon with another episode. Until next time, safe travels.